Now this will be the last video of the day. Now I'm going to show you an extremely complicated trick on how to do this. If people were to come in and you're walking down the hallway, you're going to see this. I know you can't see it that well because my light isn't that well at night. But what I have here is white paint. It's on the wood. And I found a way to fix it. The first thing I'm going to do on these black holes, you see the holes, is I'll caulk all those in. Okay, I'll make this smooth. I'll caulk the panel into the trim. Now as we go down the hallway, and this 1950s house has got the same thing. This isn't all the way in, but I'll fix that too. And it's got a little bit of white paint. Here, a little white paint there. And we come over here, and this doorway has got a little bit of white paint. And you can see that this has a little bit of white paint. Now, if I don't have to see the white paint, then I don't worry about it. Like over here, there's probably some white paint. Over here, and there may be some over here, but I can't see it. So what I'll do is I'll put caulk. First thing I'll do is I'll caulk in all the black holes. Then what I'm going to do is blend in some paint that'll make everything white right here come up to a straight white line. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Now this is complicated, so you can see where they've done it. They've Mickey Mouse painted it. There is only one or two ways to fix this, and that's probably stripping the finish off and redoing it, which I'm not going to do. But you can see it right here, and I'm going, you know, I've got a really nice paint job, except the doors look like shit. All right, well, I'll show you how I'm going to fix that. First of all, I went down and I got some satin here, which is, it's called nutmeg. And what I do is I stir it up really well, and I use my brush. And you need to load the brush. Loading the brush basically is getting paint inside these, not vestibules, fibules, I don't know, what the fuck, I can't do it. Anyway, you take it and dip it in the paint like this. You have a piece of wood in this, right? And you go like this, now watch. Okay? Now that loads the brush up. Then what I do is I took this was all white. Right? Now I've already done this because the other videos were uploading and I couldn't show you exactly how I did it. But I put a piece of white tape right against the trim and I ran it all the way down. Okay, and you can tell that there is a few leak spots, and that is because this stuff is so rough, there is no way that you can get it smooth. So I got a semi-straight line all the way to the bottom. Okay? Now, if you look very closely, you can see the brown paint. But the one thing I want you to notice about this brown paint is, notice the outside line. The outside line being from here to here, all the way down, how even it looks. Now I did that freehand without any tape, but I used a different method, and I'll show you that method that I used. Now, like I said, this is advanced painting. What you do, first of all, we get ourselves, I gotta switch hands here, a little wet rag full of warm water. Okay? And then this is what I want to do is get rid of that white right there that's on my trim. Is I'll paint out to the edge right here. Then what I do is I take this, and it's just got light water on it right here. If I can ever get this to work on cue, which I can't. And then what I do is I'll hold it on a certain spot, like right up here, and I'll rub down. Okay, as I hold the same pressure, okay, I'll get a beautiful line. And if the line is too far in and white is showing on here, then I'll just repaint a little bit more, and I'll redo this again all the way to the bottom. Now the next day, I will come in and I will cut the white line. I'll cut the white in here. Now, one thing about cutting in, this is one thing I want to tell you. You can cut either the trim end, the brown end, to the white, or you can paint the white into the trim right down on this side. You can do it either side. You can do it multiple times. what you have to find is what is the best way for your style of painting. So we take the paintbrush here, and do you want to cut in from this side right here and make your line, or do you want to take your white paint and cut it in from this side? And if it screws up, all you need to do is let it dry and do it again. Now I know how to cut a line pretty well, but what I want to do is have, if someone were to walk in, like right, let me switch hands here again. If someone were to walk in from right here and they would just happen to look over at the door, what I want them to see, and they'll look at this brown and they won't think that the brown is part of the trim or anything, it's just there. I want them to see white, beautiful white going to a sharp, crisp line all the way from the top of the door all the way to the bottom. And they don't need to get too close to look at it or anything. Now that's another hiding trick. Now remember, before they had masking tape and rollers and laser beam painters, they had water and they had rags. And you can, suppose that you have a color on this side and a color on this side. Say this is blue and this is pink, some kind of weird ass color. You can actually take a rag right here while the one side is wet and go down with the rag and make a perfect line. You can do that. And that's one way of doing it. They do not use that method in contract painting at all. They just don't have the time to do it. Now remember, I was taught by Four Seasons a lot of things. A lot of these things I've taught myself. What's important is not the technique that I use to get my results. It is the results that matter. Because if someone were to come in this house right now and look at it without seeing my videos, they don't give a damn if I'm using a 4-inch roller or a paintbrush or a wet rag. They couldn't give a flying anything. All they say is, I like it. Good enough, big deal. How many times have you ever been in a house and known how it was painted? But you say to yourself, it's either a good job or a crummy job, or I really don't care. Now, if you're a guy, you really don't care. But women really pay attention to this. It's like, oh, those curtains, they just don't match the carpet. It's like right in the middle of the Super Bowl, she comes up, turns the TV off, and says, I want to talk about our feelings. No. Excuse me. No. We'll do that next year, okay? Get out of the way of my TV. It's the Super Bowl. That's it. Leave right now, whatever your name was. I don't care. You're my wife? Whatever. Get out. It's football. Now, here's 2 coats of white semi-gloss on this bottom part. I wanted to do the bottom first and then the top because I didn't want to spend all my time getting the whole thing ready, and then it's starting to get cold out here. Excuse me. So tomorrow this should be in pretty good shape, and we'll see how it looks. But I hope that makes some sense to you about. So you can see those little lines right there, the little misses. That's no problem. I'll recut that with white eggshell. But I want the white to just look really crisp against her, because I've spent all this time doing an excellent job. It's like you got a supermodel, all right, and she's absolutely the most gorgeous woman in the world, and she opens her mouth and all her teeth are green. It's like, no, forget it. So you want to do a good job if you can. And if you come up to these pieces, they're not such a big deal because you don't look straight on at them here or here. And then there isn't any over there or up here. And all these wood cabinets were put in 1955. So, and then if you look over here, if someone were to come in this door behind me, then you might see, well, you really don't see too much right there. But that's my next thing is to fine tune these doors so that they have a really crisp white edge, and I'm going to use an illusion style painting to do it. Now if you can use any of these tips, like caulking around here or caulking around your vents up here, if you can use those in any of your painting, please go right ahead and do them. Remember, I don't know everything. I would suggest that you go on YouTube and you look at a lot of painters and just ask yourself one question. When you get done watching the video, ask yourself this: would I buy a used car from the guy? Does the guy know what he's doing, or is he talking total bullshit? And if you say to yourself, yeah, you know, that makes sense. It works for him. If I take my time, it'll work for me. Now, if you can answer the question that way, then whoever made the video is really a good video maker. So I'm going to post this and maybe play some more Rage. I hope you like the video tips so far. I'm glad I have winter and some time to do the whole house.